In the 1980s, at the University of Montana, two professors of sociology worked just steps away from each other. Dr. C. Leroy Anderson was digging through 19th century archives, reconstructing the history of the Church of the Firstborn, also called the Morosites, a breakaway Mormon sect from the 1860s. Next door, Dr. Rob Balch was studying something a bit more contemporary, the Baha'i school of Dr. Leland Jensen, known as the Bahá'ís Under the Provisions of the Covenant. Two scholars, two religious movements, two different time periods. And yet, neither professor seemed to notice something extraordinary: the striking parallels between these groups' prophetic doctrines. The narrow scientistic bias of academia is that, of course, prophecy is not a thing, cannot be a thing, and has never been a thing. That any similarities between prophecies and actual events are coincidences at best. They have no room in their worldview for God's visionary realm. Whatever the reason, academic tunnel vision, personal bias, or just the insular nature of university life, when you set these two movements side by side, the similarities jump off the page. So let's start with some background. In the late 1850s, a Mormon named Joseph Morris claimed to receive revelations from God. Disillusioned with Brigham Young's leadership of the LDS Church, Morris proposed a new arrangement. Young would continue handling administration, but Morris would be recognized as a seer and a prophet. When Young refused, Morris began gathering followers, telling them to break away from Brigham Young, whom he saw as corrupt, and to prepare for the imminent Second Coming. By spring of 1861, several hundred people had joined him. He called his new group the Church of the Firstborn. But when Morris's predictions for Christ's return apparently failed, tensions rose. In spring of 1862, a dispute over confiscated grain spiraled into armed conflict between the main group and a handful of defectors. Morris ordered his followers to hold the defectors captive. The Utah territorial authorities, under Brigham Young's influence, sent a posse led by Sheriff Robert Burton. After a 3-day siege, Burton demanded Morris's surrender. Morris stepped forward but refused to yield. Burton accused him of apostasy and shot him dead. According to Dr. Anderson, Morris had foretold this confrontation with uncanny accuracy 6 months earlier. A year later, a man named George Williams claimed visions and took up leadership of the disillusioned Church of the Firstborn. It's Williams' visions that hold the most remarkable parallels to the mission of Dr. Leland Jensen. Now, before 1990, neither Dr. Jensen nor his students had even heard of the Morosites. The connection came by accident during a tour by some of Doc's students of the old Montana State Prison, by then a museum. A guide mentioned the Morosites, sparking curiosity that led to deeper research. The more they looked, the more the parallels became impossible to ignore. In 1861, the Church of the Firstborn expected Christ's return at any moment. Dr. Jensen taught that Bahá'u'lláh was the second Christ, the one seated upon the throne of David, who had declared his mission publicly in 1863, just 2 years later. William's vision spoke of the armies of God charging from north of Salt Lake Valley and directed the faithful to pioneer the Deer Lodge Valley in Montana, directly north of the Salt Lake Valley. One of Dr. Jensen's proofs was that his mission began in Deer Lodge, in the stone with seven eyes between the two mountains of copper described in Zechariah chapters 3 and 6. Williams foretold that the one coming to Deer Lodge would be specifically Jesus the high priest. Dr. Jensen taught that he was the return of Joshua the high priest. In Hebrew, Joshua, Yehoshua, and Jesus, Yeshua, are variations of the same name, both meaning God saves. Dr. Jensen was clear. He was not the return of Jesus the Christ. The role of Christ belonged to Bahá'u'lláh. But in his role as great educator, Doc fulfilled the prophecies for Jesus the high priest. Williams prophesied that the future high priest would be prisoned. He wrote, "How well he is prisoned by a process unshown, the flaming sword still keeps this science unknown." Dr. Jensen served time in the Montana State Prison in Deer Lodge. Williams said the temple would be built from stones from the mountains. The Montana State Prison, the stone with seven eyes or seven watchtowers, was built from stone quarried in Garrison and Whitehall, Montana. The old Montana State Prison is the temple to which Jesus returned because the presence of God, the covenant, was with him as he started his mission teaching the inmates. Soon after Doc was released from prison in 1973, the old prison was closed down and the eastern gate, located in Tower 7, was locked with a heavy chain and padlock, never to be used again, fulfilling the following prophecy. Then he brought me back to the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces east, and it was shut. And he said to me, "This gate shall remain shut. It shall not be opened, and no one shall enter by it, for the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered by it. Therefore, it shall remain shut." The Church of the Firstborn held an annual feast on August 9th. The last recorded celebration was in 1969, the very first full day of Dr. Jensen's incarceration. Williams taught that the King of Denmark was of the royal line of heavenly priesthood. Dr. Jensen, on his father's side, was descended from Danish kings. Williams reported a vision in which Muhammad told him, "Jesus is not divided in feeling with me. Therefore, we both serve the Most High." For a 19th century Western Christian, this was astonishing, yet it aligns perfectly with the Baha'i teaching that Jesus and Muhammad are both manifestations of the same God. Two movements separated by more than a century, one emerging from the Latter-day Saint frontier, the other from a modern Baha'i context. Both pointed to the second coming of Christ within just 2 years of each other. Both pointed to Deer Lodge, Montana as sacred ground. Both spoke of a high priest, one named Jesus, the other claiming to fulfill prophecies for the return of Jesus, the high priest. Both spoke of a high priest imprisoned within a temple of stone. Williams saw it in vision. Dr. Jensen fulfilled it in the prison at Deer Lodge. And both marked August 9th as a sacred date. Both tied the lineage to the kings of Denmark, and both affirmed that Jesus and Muhammad serve the same God. Were these parallels random, or do they point to something deeper, a prophetic pattern playing out across generations? Dr. Anderson and Dr. Balch may never have discussed it in their offices at the University of Montana, but the record is there for anyone willing to look. Visions, prophecies, and historical facts that line up with startling precision. Was this mere coincidence, or was the groundwork for Dr. Leland Jensen's mission foretold long before he ever set foot in Deer Lodge? In the end, the questions are yours to answer. Visit schooloftheland.com, where history's oldest promise meets humanity's future.